Welcome to another episode of Towards Agility podcast. My name is Khurram, and today we have a guest, Usman Afzal, who is a solution architect with the Microsoft Sweden. We'll be talking about artificial intelligence. So, over to you, Usman, for your introduction.
Thank you, Karan, for having me here. I'm really glad to talk about the topic. That's what I do on daily basis. My name is Usman Afzal, as rightly said, and I am a solution architect and also productivity coach working at Microsoft Sweden for the past 14 years. And I have been helping customers across Western Europe in the past, working with the modern work technologies. But these days, with the intrusion of Copilot and generative AI, I'm spending a lot of time helping organizations to tap into this technology. So I'm really excited to listen in and hopefully answer and have a conversation with you today, Khurram.
Yes, and I know we have been following up for this session for a few months, but every time,
Mhm.
like either you or I was traveling, but it's good that we are here today. What this topic is about and who is it for the people or for the leaders, professionals, and any human being who's wondering about the artificial intelligence. And hope by the end of this episode you will have a clear way to think about the artificial intelligence. Let's look at the big picture, Osman, and what is actually happening with artificial intelligence. So my first question is straight to the point: is what do people misunderstand about artificial intelligence today? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very philosophical question, to be honest. And I am a student of technology for a long time. And we have been studying and talking about AI already in 2003, 2005. At that time, the biggest difference was it was a buzzword in the air,
Mm,
meaning people were talking about AI. So it's not something that came in 2023 when ChatGPT or OpenAI came into the picture. We have been talking about AI for a long time. But at
yes.
that time, the definition of AI was mostly scrambled around the automation part. Mostly the first thing comes into people's mind was if it's an automation, that's AI happening.
Yes.
Although the educationists tried their best to define AI, that's not AI. When you talk about repeating something, that's called automation. When you are
Mm,
using machines to perform certain operations, that's automation. That's not AI. So what I feel what's happening today, and the biggest difference what has happened, let's say 24, 26 months ago, that AI in the form of generative AI came into the picture and also it was accessible by people. So like
mm,
you and me, we start interacting with it perhaps let's say 30 months ago when OpenAI launched ChatGPT. So everyone started realizing it's real, but actually it has been there for so long period of time. And researchers, educationists, people like us who are doing distributed systems, we're working on it. The only difference is today it's available for you and me. It's available for almost everybody across the globe. But in the past, it was, as I said, buzz, but also buzz in the air. So I see the biggest thing as of today, what people are talking about is the version of AI, which I call generative AI. That's the true name of it, if we refer to that.
mm.
They are talking about it because they see that in action in the flow of their work. So that's what I see, Khurram. That's why everyone talks about AI these days.
So can we say that, Usman, it's not a revolution, but it's more about it's just accelerating the existing technology. Can we say that?
Actually, we can say both.
Hmm.
It depends on from which angle we're talking about. If we talk about from a technology perspective, that's an acceleration. That's not new, as I said. But
Hmm.
if we talk about norms, culture, or
Hmm.
human perspective, it's an evolution. Because again, I would say when we talk about AI in the past, it's something that people can't see, they can't access it.
Hmm.
But today, that's a big shift for them. So, developing countries, I think it's going to take for them a while still to get the evolution on this technology because it's not reaching to the all developing countries across the globe. So, I think it's both ends. From a technology perspective, it's super fast acceleration. It's
Hmm.
nothing new. We have been looking into industrial revolution for the last 30 to 40 years.
Yes.
AI is just another technology that's evolving rapidly.
Mm.
Its speed is fast, I agree, but it's still a technology evolution. But from a cultural perspective, it's a huge shift. It's a leap that people have to take to stay relevant with the technology that's coming on our way.
So you mentioned about yes, it is a technology, and I mean I have seen floppy disks like small
Mhm.
one, big one, and 133 megahertz processors, and combining all the things. This is really technology which has been evolving for over past 20 years. But uh, there is a lot. I mean, what do you think about what is artificial intelligence AI can do surprisingly well, and on the other hand, it is not doing very well.
Yeah. You know what? This is a very good question, by the way. And I want to quote someone that I'm reading recently,
Hmm.
and that's, of course, Microsoft AI CEO, Mustafa Suleiman. He said something that actually struck with me, and I think it's going to stay with me for some time. And what he said is AI is something that computers can actually not do.
Hmm.
Now, that is really strong statement. What
Hmm.
he's trying to say that is AI means something which normally computers cannot perform. So we as human needs to bring in our intent into it, which in other words, large language models. You build them, you train them. So basically what you're doing, you're telling computer to do something which
Hmm.
computer cannot do by itself. And that is itself a huge statement that you can give it to someone to define AI. Now, looking at AI, and I would categorically mention the generative AI, what we have seen has been done extremely nicely, pitch perfect. That is generation of content. So
Hmm.
you talk about content creation, you talk about email drafting,
Hmm.
or most importantly, summarizing of information, which is done by majority of the people across the globe every single day.
Yes.
That has been done with generative AI extremely well when it comes to helping you giving the first draft of something, creating a presentation. Fair. Go to AI, generative AI, create your first draft, spend less time, and your presentations are ready. You want to create an RFP document?
Hmm.
Start with generative AI, get the first draft, give a template, and your work will reduce a lot. So I think that's the part that generative AI has done really, really good. What
Hmm.
has not been done so good so far is where you bring in people or human nuances. So, cultures, norms, feelings, these
Hmm.
are, or even the context. That's where you still need people. And I think you're going to keep people in the loop for a long period of time because that's where you bring in not just the intent, but also the context to generative AI. So that's how I see it. The generation part, the summarization part, that's been done really nicely by the AI. But on the other side, the context, the cultural awareness, the norms, these are missing. And this is not done appropriately so far by the tools.
Hmm. So I think that brings the next aspect is into how is the artificial intelligence in our work and organizations.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, most of the discussions that I have been part of on the topic of AI, the people are, as you mentioned, it is helping you generate ideas, it is helping you summarize, it is helping you with analysis. So there is a kind of a there's kind of a fear that AI will take the job. So my question could be, what jobs or the roles are most misunderstood in AI discussions?
Yeah, I think this is very funny, and you are absolutely right in that comment that AI will take over the jobs. We'll talk about that as well.
Hmm.
But your question is extremely good that what are the roles that are misunderstood? Because I see that uh, almost everywhere on daily basis. I think examples include project managers, for example, I met them a lot, even teachers or people who work in customer success units. These
Hmm.
are the people who feel fear that their jobs might disappear, they might become irrelevant. I think the other way around. I think with the intrusion and with the progress of generative AI, these roles will become super collaborative. So
Hmm.
someone who was a project manager or a scrum master early on, he would do a lot of things by themselves. And then they also need to spend time on team building activities, emotional intelligence, etc.,
Mm,
etc. Now they can focus on the important part, which is, as I mentioned, use AI to generate project plans, to have your Scrum iteration working along your side, and then you focus more on the emotional intelligence that actually brings in the people version. Same goes
mm,
for teachers. You spend a lot of decent time creating questions based on the content that you already taught to your students. You don't
mm,
need to do that because you have an assistant along your site, bring in your content, hand it over to a nice tool, and ask the tool to generate FAQs for you that you can hand it over to students. If we see from this perspective, I think these are the roles. In other words, I would generalize them
mm,
information workers.
mm,
And again, I would say categorically, I met them a lot in the field, and I see the fear, and I see the ethical AI concerns as well along these roles.
mm,
So you name them, project managers, product owners, scrum masters. These are people who are fearing a lot. I think rather than fearing, they need to see it's the positive side of it. Save time and reuse that time or utilize that time for the important aspects. So I see these are the roles. I would call them information workers. They feel the most pressure with generative AI. And also content creators on the other side, they also feel they will be relevant. I see they will be more relevant now. Once again, let's see from this angle. You're going
mm,
to get an agent or an assistant to help you speed fast the content creation, but it cannot create the intent by itself. You need to bring the intent with it. So these are a few roles, Khurram, that I feel
mm.
misunderstood and also they fear a lot.
Yeah, but so mm I have been following some social media, let it be on YouTube, Reels, TikTok, and other LinkedIn. Uh, One of my concern is that, for example, I am working a lot with the coaching, team coaching, leadership coaching, change management. So I can say that I have certain experience. I have seen the situation directly and worked with it, navigated through it. And one
Mhm.
of my concern is that, and is like anyone can just ask the ChatGPT or any AI tool. Is like, what are the five things to do for change management?
Mhm.
And then you get a list of five things and creative workshop and all the. So what is the difference between me and that person who just spent like 10, 15 minutes and asking for all those change management aspects? And I'm seeing that a lot.
Mhm.
So what I'm asking is, where is the credibility part?
Mhm. I think you're answering the question by yourself. So
Mhm.
let's go back to the same rule. The
Mm,
instructor or teacher or trainer, I would actually ask that person, what is your role? Is your role to deliver a module that is written by you several months ago, or written by someone else, or
mm,
maybe picked from a book? Then you decide you're a teacher. Then you're not a trainer. A trainer is that brings examples, scenarios, and make it real for the people.
mm,
So a trainer starts by telling people what's in there for you, not by defining stuff.
mm.
So I personally agree with you because I think this is the evolution part. We all
Yes,
got generative AI, we all got excited, we all think that, okay, I can ask Copilot or ChatGPT
yes,
to do this thing. Why I need Usman or XYZ person to educate me?
yes.
Fair. And I think I respect that part. It's going to happen for a few months, for several months, maybe a year or so, but then it will come back to normalization. People
Mm,
will realize that you should use these tools, Copilot, ChatGPT, or whatever, for the learning aspects. It will be nicer for me to stand on the same stage 3 months from now onward, rather than me telling people what is change management. I
mm,
need to adjust. I don't need to educate people. I think we will move to an era where people would know the definition. Let's not spend time on fluff. Go direct to the point. So if
mm,
I'm standing somewhere educating people, change management, start with the EDCAR model. You don't need to start with, historical 1960s and 70s and 80s. That's fluff. And honestly, that's where I feel that's my definition of changing between a teacher, a trainer, and then a facilitator. So
Hmm.
I would go back to that person and say, if you fear that, your fear is genuine, your concerns are correct, but let's readjust yourself rather than you spending time on definitions. One day before your training, 1 week before your training, you yourself send people a prompt saying, use this prompt to get the basic knowledge, bring the credibility in. So people would see that this person is transparent. This person is using
Hmm.
Copilot or ChatGPT by himself or themselves. And now this person will come on stage with their self. We are going to hear experiences. We are going
Yes.
to hear examples. So I think that's how I would say, Khurram, that the fear or is genuine,
Hmm.
but the way how we should tackle it is going back and asking the basic question, what is the role of the trainer?
So,
If
so
people become more educated, that's better for the trainer. Your job gets easier.
I mean, I have been training for past 10 years and I wish people have completed their homework.
Yeah, I know, I know.
It's it's not an easy unless and until you say that it has some points or scores and you need to finish it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yes.
really wish if people do that. But what I'm hearing, Usman, is that so these roles are not replaced by the AI, but perhaps they are reshaped.
Yeah. Yes.
So we need to we need to think is and one more thing that I mean I do very particularly is like I just try to look for what is the source, like who is the person. It's kind of I mean I will not like to read about AI or a certain topic about some random person, and if I say, oh, it's written by Usman, then I know that, oh, I know that person. I know
Mm,
that person has an experience, and whatever that person might be sharing will be valuable irrespective of the fact that person has used the AI or not. And I
mm,
think one thing that you said quite resonated very well with me. AI is kind of a it's a knowledge, it's a database. In order to, you still need to ask it to
mm,
get that answer.
mm,
But you need to be some kind of person who is asking the relevant questions and who's looking for specific information to gather it and generate some insight. So I think that was
yeah.
a quite interesting, and that's what I'm doing next. Sometimes I have some thoughts and I don't know how to put them together. I mean, I'm taking some personal notes and I just put it to the ChatGPT or Copilot, and hey, I have these thoughts. What am I thinking? And it gives me some good ideas
Yeah.
as well. Oh,
Yeah.
you're thinking about these points, and you can build upon the next point as well. Now, continuing with the organization aspect.
Mm.
Mm, what are organizations getting wrong about AI adoption? So, since you have been talking with a number of people working with, collaborating with the organization, so
Yeah.
where are they getting wrong?
Good question. And I think the most important question these days when it comes to large organizations or enterprises,
Hmm.
because whenever something is new, you get two kind of people. One who will take a long time to adapt it, and the other one who will quickly try to adapt things and then will step back because of not having a proper structure and all that. So there are multiple challenges that I have observed, especially working with enterprise organizations.
Hmm.
I work in a department where we go and from the sale to the post sale, we try to educate people to use Copilot.
Hmm.
One challenge is that, which is a natural human instinct, is to go to the solution immediately, which
Oh,
means
yeah.
tooling. Should I go for Copilot? Should I go for ChatGPT? Uh, without educating people.
Yeah.
So you are actually having a tool in front of you, and you think it's AI that's going to just pull something from yourself and create and generate stuff by itself. That's not going to happen. You need to bring structure. You need to bring clarity, which
Yes.
means you need to educate people how to think. And simple word, which is oversimplified by the way these days, everyone talks about that, prompt engineering.
Hmm.
I love that statement because that one statement just put a full stop, and then people say, I need prompt engineering. What is prompt engineering?
Hmm.
You are bringing the natural human instinct out, meaning ask questions to yourself. Why do you need something? What you are actually going to do in your life? What is
Mm,
the day tomorrow, like your tomorrow, how the day looks like tomorrow. So
mm,
basic clarity. So what I see, feel the one hurdle or one thing that companies have taken wrong is to quickly jump into this is the tool we're going to use, this is the tool we're not going to use.
mm,
That's not how should we take the technology. We should first educate people. This is how you work with generative AI. And then whatever works better for you, you take it from there. That's one challenge that I see. And
mhm,
the other one, biggest challenge, is the adoption. So you bring in expensive tools, you don't see the value in few months' time, and then you disregard them. And then you
yeah,
start complaining about the companies who have built them. I think that's where people are still taking it as just another technology. So if you go back 15 years, you
mm.
got a new CRM system, you install it, and within 6 months you realize this is very costly.
Oh, yes.
I'm taking an intentional pause here for my audience to think this is exactly happening today. If you hear a social media telling you X tool is not performing because historically their products have not been performing, it's not correct. The reason is
Mm,
the intent is wrong. You bought an expensive product, and you don't have a plan how you are going to get the value out of it.
mm,
The large organizations are still thinking about personal productivity, meaning drafting emails, creating Word document, generating PowerPoints, working with numeric data. That is just one person's personal productivity. What
mm,
you gonna do with that time that is saved for Usman if you don't have an alternative? At the end of the day, there is no productivity gain. So think
mm,
again at what I'm saying here. Many people, many organizations are saying we need AI because we need to be productive. Fair. I'm with you. But what are you going to do with that time that you're gaining back? If you're not creating alternative career paths for people, if you're not letting them educate by themselves, that means you are giving them time back for nothing. So obviously, it's going to come back to you that it's just a cost of buying X license or Y company. So these two challenges, Khurram, I see a lot. First, starting without intent, just following the trend and having expensive tools purchased without any clear goals, what you really want to do. Second is no trainings and also no possibility to measure the value of time that you're getting back. And by the way, this also works for you and me as well. If you and me both think from a personal note that I have this AI assistant available for me now, I can do tons of other things that I couldn't do in the past. Believe me, and let's wait and watch, it's going to be procrastination for some time. The reason is because soon we will realize everyone is able to do the same thing that you and me can do. So
yes.
the value is what we're going to do to speed fast things which I was not able to do otherwise. So that's where the value part comes in.
So it could be like we want to gain back the time that we are doing in our daily work. But
Mhm.
I mean, you just mentioned one part is like one when you are explaining is think part. Do you think that when we use the AI extensively, it will impact on the thinking capability of the people?
Of course, it will, and it will definitely impact for example, as you mentioned earlier, that you do co-piloting or chat GPTing a lot, and I do that
Hmm.
as well on daily basis. Maybe I should actually say on minute basis. I spend
Okay.
all my time with them. So yes, it will definitely impact the thinking process. If I have a raw idea and I give it to a co-pilot, for example,
Yes.
and I ask Copilot, I have rough idea. I want you to just, structure it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to make sure that I have the strengths afterwards saying no to certain ideas as well. Because otherwise, after your first prompt, you actually will navigate what AI wants you to navigate.
Yes.
So you ask the question, you got a response, and you love it because something got generated in front of you. But believe me, once you work with it on daily basis, and once you have the credibility, the back to the example, project manager or instructor. Once
Mm.
you're an instructor, once you're not a teacher, you're a trainer, then you will actually challenge the idea. So you will not bring the raw thought. You will bring a thought that you just want to brainstorm, and then you go to the next conversation with Copilot or ChatGPT, and then you will drive it accordingly. That's one word: education. That's where we need to educate people. I don't want us to stay silent on this part that I have used ChatGPT or Copilot. I would stand on a stage and tell people this is what is co-created by me together with Copilot. Let's move on from here because this is basic. It's done. People will needs to hear this kind of credibility from us.
Yes.
Once that culture is built, people would start believing themselves. But short answer, absolutely, I'm with you. Extensive use of AI may impact our thinking process as well if we do not train ourselves.
Yeah. Another concern that I have is like one is our as a human our thinking capability, and another is like AI is you give an input to AI and you get an answer. How is the
Mhm.
reliability on the answers given by these AI tools? And we need to have those certain capabilities that once what information we want to retain and what
Mhm.
information we want to reject from the AI and how we can navigate it. So, for example, whenever I'm trying to do some brainstorming on organizational topics, I at the end of this answer it says, okay, would you like me to do this, this, this? And then I always I was always
Mhm.
I always check that comment. It's like what is asking me to do next,
Mhm.
and that is also helpful. But sometimes I have observed that if I want to go in this direction, it is asking me to go in a different direction. So I have to choose where I want to retain. But
Yeah.
if we talk about in briefly, what you say, what is AI done badly and what is AI done well? What would be uh, one key mindset about that?
Yeah, I think the generation of content has been done really, really well with AI or generative AI and tools like Copilot, for example. They can not even generate content for you, but they can generate content right in the flow of work, and I'm a big fan of that. I'm not a fan of asking a tool, a GPT solution, certain things back and forth with reluctance that you don't want to share your name, your privacy documents because that goes somewhere in the outside servers. I'm a fan of doing things in the flow of work. So you are creating a policy document right in there. If you get your assistant to generate content for you, that will be the real speed fasting of generation process. So I think what AI has done in the over the past 24 months or so is to give us really good generators of content. That's it, the first draft. And I'm repeatedly saying for your audience, consider when you work with AI or generative AI, Copilot, ChatGPT,
Mhm.
please consider that it's a draft you're getting. It's not the output. It's not the result that you are going to produce. It's a draft. You take it from there and then bring your tone of voice to it. That's what Khurram, I believe generative AI has done really, really well.
Hmm.
What it has not done so well, and I said that earlier as well, is to still be able to bring human nuances, cultural elements, the
Yes.
context around it. It's improving with the memory part of the technology. It's improving. We are getting there, uh, but I think that's one area where AI still needs to work more.
Yeah, I mean, I have been like playing with AI with putting the culture aspect as well. Like whenever I'm going traveling to different cultures, I have
Mhm.
my observations and I share that observation here. I visited this event or conference, and this is what I observed. So, what are your thoughts about that? And I was quite amazed to see that the responses were very nice. It helped me to understand different culture
Mhm.
as well. But moving the direction as well, and not to over rely on or over trust on artificial intelligence. What other risks could be there if we rely too much on AI?
Yeah, I think the first one is your confidence error. So you might have heard this statement that when we drive, we follow the instincts, and mostly you drive to your destination without even knowing which turns you have
Oh
taken.
yes.
That's a human involvement. I buy that part. But I don't buy that part when that happens through an automated generative solution or AI in simple words. What I'm trying to say here, you mentioned that earlier. You asked a question and then you got the next direction. You pick that one up. That's what I'm training kids these days as well. schools and colleges are stopping kids to use generative AI. That's not going to
Yes.
work out, by the way, because when you stop something, people will find out different ways. We need to educate what is wrong in the process. And
Mm,
what's wrong is schools should get AI tools where you ask the question and the responses are coming without giving you the indication of what's next.
mm,
That's a simple thing. It's not a rocket science. You can build those kind of tools that are only giving the answer and helping the child or student to crave for the response rather than getting the response directly.
mm.
So going back to your question, and that is what I just one more time. What was the question? Just
So the question is like, what risks could emerge if we
yes,
trust too much
yes,
on AI
yes.
because it's
Very
doing
good.
everything for us?
Very good. So I would say again, repeating on that, first thing is your confidence error. So having too much confidence on it,
Hmm.
that could take us to south. The other things are the privacy aspects, which I talk a lot on daily basis.
Hmm.
When we talk about Copilot, we understand there are many things we need to work better, perhaps. But what we are good at it to confirm people the privacy aspect.
Hmm.
Your data stays with you. I think this is the biggest statement which people don't understand when they get a private tool on their mobile phone. It takes few seconds to install it and then start asking, I'm Usman, I do this. And we forget that we are handing over information to those organizations that have proven in the past to use your information to train their models. So
Yes.
privacy aspect is where the trust is really important, Khurram, because if someone, an automated tools will get to know that I'm working on, and if this could be stolen by someone else, this
Mm,
is a disaster. We don't want to be in that situation. So those areas where people are working with privacy information. So I'm looking into if someone is hearing me and you are a privacy administrator, if you are a compliance manager, your use of generative AI needs to be very careful, and you should be using the vetted tools for your organization rather than using any other tool. Because if you use any other tool, you're actually handing over your information there. So, confidence error, privacy aspects, healthcare on the other side, these are the areas where you cannot bear any error. So, you need to be crystal clear on the responses that you are getting. So, trust is literally the first element. Speed is not important. The comprehension of the responses are not important. What's really important is that the information you are providing and receiving, it's all within the boundaries of your personal use or organizational use.
yeah, I think you made a very interesting point here about sharing information, and that also is important. How do we balance innovation?
Mhm.
For example, I have some ideas. I want to look at that idea from the different perspectives. Then we have the safety and the regulation. So, for the organization that you have been working with, how do you see balancing innovation, the safety, and the regulation using in the AI era? What
Yeah.
has been your experience on that?
I mean, so even if I take out the hat of Microsoft being working in there, one thing that I am proud of is that this organization talks about privacy and trust at first place.
Hmm.
So tooling, innovation, how fast responses are, how accurate, that's the secondary part. The first thing is the privacy and the trust. And I think we are doing quite good in that aspect. Technically, how we are addressing this Khurram, is to ensure that when you use Microsoft products, although I'm not here to talk about a company's product,
Hmm.
but because I know that part, so I can talk about it. Maybe other organizations are doing same way. When we have generative AI solutions, anything that goes in there, your inputs, your prompt,
Hmm.
basically,
Hmm.
that and everything that happens along the side, along the way, and also the response, all of this happens within your tenant, within your organizational boundary. So if you work in company A, you have a tenant boundary, you have a, a, a service agreement with Microsoft.
Hmm.
So the models are OpenAI. We bring them into your organization, you use them, they never get trained because they're already given to your tenancy. And you can freely share information. You can upload your Word documents in there and
Hmm.
ask Copilot to reason over with this confidence that this document is not going anywhere because you actually own kind of own the
Hmm.
LLM model by yourself. So for us, this is super important.
Hmm.
And this is why it takes longer time for us to bring tools than many other open source organizations because it's easier for them to push something. They do not have these kind of contractual agreement with enterprise organizations. So that's how we handle this for them. Looking into privacy aspects from a co-pilot, from a generative AI perspective, because that's our topic today. The most important element is when you provide information and when you receive information from the tool, all of this end to end stays with you within your organization
Hmm.
and not with Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, those are like more of your hosted solution that you are mentioning. But looking forward, in the past 2 years, 2.5 years, a number of things have happened. Uh, what is overhyped right now?
Mhm.
Every organization is talking about AI. So, in your experience, what is overhyped right now?
Yeah, I think the personal productivity is overhyped right now. Although I talk about this on daily basis, and I am a big fan of getting productive as well, but I think it's I would call this as overhype, and one of them,
Mhm.
and everyone, individually as well as organizations are looking for personal productivity gains, which is really smart, I must tell you, but it's not the eventual thing. Because if you do have personal productivity gains without knowing what's going to happen next, soon you will fall into a trap of being tools being so expensive. The reason is because we don't know if Usman and Khurram are saving 50 minutes per day. That's mean a lot of hours during a week, a lot of hours during a number of months, where that time is going to be used. Is that time going to be used against us, saying that we need less headcounts going forward? That's not good. Or if we don't know where that time is going to be used, that's mean in 1 year time, the company will think we're actually giving or spending money to
Mm.
make people more productive, we're not getting the productivity. So I think
Yes.
that's one element which companies and organizations and even individuals has to think about when you use these tools. Is your life getting more productive? Are you able to gain time that you are spending somewhere which you were not able to do otherwise? My example, when I look at myself, if I'm using generative AI a lot and I'm doing 10 projects compared to 5 projects in the past, is that personal productivity? I need to answer myself. If
Mm.
I was able to use that time to my family or other social projects, that's personal productivity for me. Same goes for companies. How do you see the save time from individuals? Then you would be able to define the KPIs for yourself. So that's one thing that I think is overhyped. And
Mm.
the other thing which is overhyped is that large organizations uh, and I respect that because I know politically things are happening across the globe, but there's a lot of talks around privacy and how tools are working without knowing what is the underlying data. So I've met so many people asking the basic question. When I upload a document to Copilot, how my document is processed. Fair, I'll answer this. But my first question is when you upload your document to Dropbox, what happens to your document? So if you do not have the answer for that, I think it's just the question for the sake of asking questions. There are so many things happening on computers, individual people are doing on daily basis, but when it comes to using AI, we become over conscious from a large organization perspective. And then we talk and spend too much time on those aspects.
Mm.
Those aspects are correct. I agree we need to discuss them, but I think that's a little bit overhyped discussion as well.
Mm. Mm. I mean, we need to be very mindful about how this technology works.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
one more thing that I have observed when having conversation with in my teams and organizations and other
Mhm,
people as well, I
mhm,
also feel like is the whole organization prepared to adopt AI or not?
mhm,
People roles are individually looking into how it can help project managers, but I have seen like it's still they are investigating, they are looking into it, how we can increase the productivity.
mhm,
And my observation or my concern is that um, there are not so many organizations or people are early adopter of the technology. people need some time. It's only 15% if you look at that bell curve, and more than 70% people they are just catching up.
Mhm.
I hope that people after like 1 or 2 years are in a better position how to be having more clarity on how to use the AI in their daily productivity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my observation is I have been, if I ask about one idea, it gives me 10 ideas. Then I can find, like, give me top three ideas. So
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like I am I'm bombarded with a lot of information. Then I need to spend another hour, go through all the information, and
Mhm.
then try to see what is relevant, what is not relevant. So it is helping me give some good ideas, but then I end up spending more time into refining it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what you are touching right now is the agentic environment. Because for the sake of clarity for to your audience, if they are following our discussion, hear me out. When we talk about AI, and I have repeatedly categorically mentioning generative AI because AI is huge. You have machine learning, you have image processing. We are referring the generative AI part of it. When we talk about generative AI and we say you get a lot of ideas, it's because you are working with the vanilla version of
Yes.
GPT models.
Yes.
So OpenAI, the model was trained somewhere on extensive data that's publicly available. All is good, all is fair. Now we have GPT 5.0 as well. You have many different models,
Mm,
but these models are generic. They will perform certain activities for you. They are GPT, so they know what's coming next in the pattern. They can generate responses for you. Their goal and job is to give you a lot of ideas, and then you pick and choose and drive it from there.
mm,
What we are looking for, and you rightly put that, you got a lot of ideas. Then you spend more time on brainstorming further on those ideas. You need specialized agents. Let's suppose, example, you're a
mm,
lawyer, and the way you work from 9 to 5 is totally different
mm,
than uh, an instructor in education, completely two different fields, both using Copilot, both asking questions. It's not going to give them the responses that will help them be successful in their role. You need agents. The agents will have the underlying model as is, so GPT 5.0, but then it will have a lot of context on top of it. It will
mm,
make it a lawyer agent, for example, or an instructor agent that can be used for generating content. That's where the world is working right now. You have GPT models at the layer, then
mm,
you're adding context on top of it, and each context gives you one agent, for example. So hopefully, at some point in time, Khurram, you and me will be using, I don't know, idea generator, something like that. That
mm,
will not give me 10 ideas, but it will give me 10 ideas with the intent or angles. Then I pick and choose, and it will learn by itself that normally Usman asks me these kind of questions. His angle is more from privacy and constraints. So give him these three ideas, but also have a parking lot as well by saying these seven other ideas are there as well. If you want to pick them, that I think that's where we will see ourselves in I don't know months or even faster than that. That's what agents are. So
mm,
you need to augment the base functionality of any model with the specialized system prompt specific processing. That's what
mm,
you're after. So yes, you're right. As of now, with the vanilla flavor, my child even can go and ask the same question to Copilot, will get a dramatically good response. But
mm.
what's he going to do afterwards? That's where the human part comes into play. He
Yes.
can also ask to Copilot, what is Microsoft 365 Copilot? I need to, educate my friends. He will get a nice response, but if I get that response, I know how to play that. He doesn't know that. So that's where the human part comes into.
Yes, I understand. I think that's a really good point. Is like AI can help you generate some ideas, but at the end of the day, it's the human being which needs
Yes.
to make some act. I was just reflecting on one thought is like a role. Let's take a project manager.
Mhm.
There's one project manager as another project manager who's using AI. Do we see that? Because often I have seen some post, oh, this article is not written by AI. Oh, this post is not written by AI. If
Mhm.
someone is using AI, is it kind of an embarrassment or is it kind of cheating? Um, What are your thoughts on that?
I can share my thought, but it's a philosophical thing, to be
Hmm.
honest. It depends on the person. The world has been educating people in different countries, cultures, religions, and that is not to be judgmental, right?
Hmm.
But have we reached to a point where no one is judging us? No.
No.
Every single time, every single moment, people are judging. So if you consider that example, that historically, one good lesson was was given to the humanity, but we have not taken it for the full extent. Same goes for the AI. I don't feel shame telling people that this content is written with, co-created with AI. Yeah, I would definitely feel shame saying that I posted something, I want you to read it, but it's AI generated.
Hmm.
What's the point? I'm more happy saying I spent some time investigating our topic, but now I co-created a model, a framework, a post even on LinkedIn, which is AI created. I don't feel that bad. But there is a community that feel that if I say it's AI generated, or even if it would sound like AI generated, I
Yeah.
would not be considered transparent. And I think I have to give it, a little benefit of doubt to people as well. It's a cultural thing. It will take some time.
Hmm.
So my personal opinion is that we are the people who are seeing generative AI in front of us. We need to stand up and be transparent. Even telling people, I did this with Copilot or with ChatGPT or with some other thing. So I'm sharing it with you. But then I do bring a lot of other knowledge you're not going to get from anywhere. So it's that kind of a thing, Kulam. Be transparent, be bold around this one. And one thing, whoever is listening, don't pretend.
Hmm.
You don't want to write down a AI generated fair. But if it is AI generated, don't say that it is generated by you because we all know there are tools available where you can simply link a post or put some certain text. You will get to know if that part is generated with AI or not. So there's
Hmm.
no point pretending, but there's a good point being transparent, saying that it has been co-created with the AI.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there should be some level of authenticity that we are using that capability. But that's where the individual expertise
Yes.
come into
Yes.
place. It's like, for example, if I'm having this conversation with you, I see that, oh, you have this capability, and I have worked with the teams and organizations, so we can relate our actual experiences. So we have not read the things from from the AI generated text, but it's
Mhm.
more about the real experiences. And I think that's what connect us with the human beings as well, because then we can relate our experiences, our scenarios at the human level, even though some of the ideas might be generated by there.
Mhm.
Let's focus on. I mean, I would like to hear your aspect as well. What excites you most, and what concerns you the most about AI in the future?
The my biggest concern is the societal benefits of AI. I really would like to see all of us, including me, myself, you, and our kids, the young generation that's coming, to really take it serious from a society perspective. This is a tool. This is a technology.
Mm,
It's going to be something that is going to change in a much more faster way the society
mm,
around us. So
mm,
you talk about political aspects, you talk about cultural aspects, you
mm,
talk about geographical aspects, or you talk about religious aspects as well.
mm,
All of these, we need to be very careful. You can't stay behind, I must tell you. So that's worrying me a little bit by looking into some developing countries. If there would be a resistance
mm,
around this technology, we will stay uh, behind. And this time, it's far behind, not just a couple of centuries. Perhaps we'll left the game. And what excites me the most is still I'm learning, but I think sooner we will get to a point where we will stabilize saying that communication is getting better.
mm,
People need to be good at communication.
mm,
So let's say in 5 years' time, if a newbie is joining a company and saying, I'm a new person, that's why I don't know how to communicate, that's not going to be a viable argument because everyone will have improved communication. People
mm,
will have tools on their hands to learn something new. Um, I myself do not work with private AI. I normally work with the consumer versions, Copilot, for, you know that I'm wearing the shirt as well. But I got an opportunity to look into private AI possibilities, and it took me just one weekend to learn that otherwise I would have done as one full master program.
Mm,
Everything was learned using generative AI. But
mm,
remember that who's learning? That's the important part.
mm,
So it excites me a lot that now you can do a lot of different things. You can have fewer people, maybe 10, and you can behave like an enterprise organization. You heard that comment that the next $1 trillion person perhaps is going to be one man company. And I think I can see that. It's going to happen pretty soon where we'll see single person company exploded with the value because they will bring something really, really useful for the society. So that
mm,
excites me more, but there's a fear element as well that I don't want humanity, certain cultures, certain regions to stay behind.
mm. Yeah, that is true. So, um, if listeners remember one thing from this podcast, what would that be, Usman?
Couple of things, but I think one thing is that don't stay back. Use AI assistant, whatever is your choice. Use that. Bring credibility for sure, because whatever role you are in, whatever stage you are in right now, bring credibility, be transparent, use these tools. You don't have to pretend, but if you can share with people that you have co-created with these tools, your credibility will increase. Don't
Mm,
stay behind, but remember one thing, AI or generative AI is only going to give you the first draft.
mm,
Please make sure you bring your tone of voice, change it, modify it, observe it, and stay close to it. You will soon realize these tools will also learn you, and your tone of voice will be embedded into these tools as well. So I think that's one thing, or maybe multiple things I said. I think this is what I would like the audience to remember.
yeah, and I think my one key takeaway from this discussion is that um, as a human being, we have a very naturally fear of being replaced or losing something. So the AI is a technology, just like other technologies. It's not here to replace us, but it could replace the way we work in the future. And that is more about the adaptation, and it has happened for thousands of years. We have new technologies, and then we learn
Mm.
how to work with that. Let it be transportation. We used to travel on foot, on donkeys, the car, the planes, and we have adapted to all those situations. So hopefully,
Yes.
my best hope is that the this technology is used for to bring the best of us, which is beneficial for the people. All right,
I think
I
so.
know it.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think I'm 100% with you that it will take some time, and it's just like any other technology, people will adapt it.
Mm,
It might take a little while, but as I said, speed is going to be extremely fast. So that means the adoption part will also be fast as well. So yeah, I'm with you, and I
yeah,
hope that people will be along.
yeah. Uh, Very nice having this conversation with you, Usman. I know there are a number of things we can talk about, but this was
Mm.
kind of helping our audience understand about the AI, and pleasure having you. Thank you very much for joining this
Yeah,
podcast. And to our
I
yeah,
I think your questions were really good. Some of them were very reflective. I don't think so. Many philosophical questions, I do have the best answer. But I think these kind of questions are self-reflective by themselves. So you hear my perspective, but then they will stay with you. They will stay
yes,
with your audience as well, and they will think about these aspects from their own angle. So great questions. I was really happy
yeah.
for the invitation. So I hope this is going to be useful for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hopeful as well. Thank you very much, Usman, and thank you very much to our listeners. Until next time. Bye.
Take care.